It's just a little bit of a shame because obviously we have the it is the map test contest, and so to miss out on a few games is a little bit of a shame because it means it's like 8 times we don't get to see the maps where you usually would do. On the plus side, at least we get some tiebreakers, which will make up for a few of the maps at least. So that'll be nice as we get this ready to go. Top left-hand side, bottom left-hand side, sorry, our red Protoss player, herO. Up against the blue Zerg in the top right, Rogue. It's Rogue against herO here. Hell of a matchup as we get this started up. It's kind of nice to see herO playing because herO did disappear for a little while last year. I really feel as like the second half of the year he just sort of disappeared. Maybe just obviously just took some time out and just didn't play for a while. But yeah, he really just kind of disappeared off, and you know no one really knew where he'd gone, which was a little bit funky. And this is Neo Tokyo Turbo Cruise 84 as a map, and it's been interesting. You know, it's a very short rush distance, and I still ask, is the rush distance with the inhibitor zones made long enough? We have seen some aggressive pushes on this map being successful. Let's see what happens here. So hatch gas and pool opening is obviously quite nice. A nexus pretty early as well. It doesn't look like we're going to have a super quick all-in or anything, at least not off the first couple of moments. So early game here, just seen a pretty standard step from both players. As that Overlord gets out of the inhibitor zones, we'll be able to continue down to this bottom left-hand side to have a little bit of a peek to see what is going on. Overlord over here going to get caught by the inhibitor zone as well. We actually did see in one of the games yesterday on Neo Tokyo, or the day before Neo Tokyo, this area here actually worked quite nicely, because if you're rallying from this position around here, you will naturally get slowed by this zone. So you have to be a bit more careful, and it does just stop you kind of coming around this corner a bit faster. Or even if you just rally down here, you can run through that zone as well. So there's definitely a way to dodge around it. Just takes a little bit more attention. It was actually quite cool to see that coming into play and having some effect. As we do see the third hatchery will drop from Rogue. So far, pretty standard stuff. The Stalker here early in the game from herO means we're not going to be seeing a Stargate, most likely. Probably straight into that Twilight Council and Robo facility, as we saw against... as we saw Creator try and do against Sue. Sentry coming forwards. A gateway will drop down at the front, start walling off this area. And it's going to be a double gate wall off. Has a pylon on the wall as well, but there's no sign of a Balin bust, so I think he was going to get away with it. No real risk there in the end. First few seconds moving forwards is the Hallucinated Phoenix. Going to be heading up to the top right hand side, tagging up that Overlord a little bit as well as the drones on their way out. And obviously at this point Rogue just interested in building up his economy and getting into a nice strong position here. There's a couple of queens fighting against the hallucination. Is the wall complete? It was not complete. It's actually a very weird wall. And it's obviously not a wide ramp either, so I'm pretty sure herO could wall this off probably if he'd wanted to. I'm not really sure why he's got double pile in the wall. I mean, double pile in the wall is mostly weak against Balin busts early in the game. Obviously later it's still vulnerable to, you know, some Banes crashing into it, but not so likely to happen as we see a couple of Stalkers warping in here from herO. It's getting those couple of Stalkers out and a push through the center getting started now as well. So units pressing forwards. herO coming across to see what can be done. As the drone's just pulling all the way up to the top side here, mining away off of these minerals. Stalkers, the Adept, the Sentry, all of this coming through the middle, and herO, this proxied pylon actually really wants to do something as a shield battery as well. I actually didn't realize he's got up to 4 gateways. Wow, I actually really didn't realize this at all. Damn, okay, well that's quite a lot of gates. Just sort of never really talked about the lack of tech that came in here. These Stalkers are pretty surrounded by the Lings though. 2 queens already went down. I think this is a cleanup from Rogue. I think he survives this attack without too much damage taken, but he did have to, you know, halt worker production just a little bit. And he did lose the queens, which is pretty influential as well. Next to wall pins over here is herO's going to add on another gateway beyond the double Stargate production. So, double Stargate coming up, but also a gateway dropping down. So, you can see the Lings are backing away a little bit, and we are going to be seeing these couple of drones heading over to the left side. I don't think there's going to be a major continued attack here by herO, but what it is going to do is probably force a lot more kind of roaches and lings. And the more of those you force, the less you probably think about building spore crawlers and queens and so on to defend the Phoenix, which obviously Rogue doesn't currently know about. He does now, as the Overlord commits in. He sees a double Stargate, so a very important scout for him. Does mean that herO, rather than building up these Phoenix to kind of 5 or 6 and then committing across the map, will just fly them across the map right away, and he actually doesn't go into anything else. Twilight and a Robo now on the way up, so it's just going to be the couple of Phoenix, not even that many. Tell you what, Rogue is actually not even building spore crawlers still though, so no fear from our boy Rogue, who is just going to have to deal with these Adepts though. Very frustrating as they threaten to shade around. So Corrosive Bar's coming in. I mean, this is now at least going to be a dead or an out of energy shield battery. Some Ling's actually going to run in to fight these units as well, and herO obviously doesn't have glaives or anything crazy on these Adepts. It's just plain old boring Adepts. Roaches and Ravagers get on top, and actually dealing some good damage. Picks off the Sentry as well, so Rogue cleaning up quite a lot of this. We'll get this pylon and powering that gateway in future warpins. The Adepts will commit into the mineral line, and they will get here for some damage, which kind of feels needed because at the moment Rogue has a ton of units. I get the feeling that this ton of units might just head straight across the map, try and do a little bit more. Roaches and Ravager gathering together here as we see them coming up to the top side. A couple of Adepts getting picked away at. So a couple of Adepts going down here. And again, those Queens pushing through the center. So a bunch of Queens through the middle of the map. A few more Lings coming up as well. I'm just going to be seeing them do a little bit of damage. I mean, the Phoenix production is restarted. As the Queens, I mean, Queens are already pretty slow off creep. This is actually like epic slow-mo stock. I was like, oh my god, the Queens are coming. It's like their slow-mo entrance. They burst through the door in slow-mo and like, here we are. And then they're actually still in slow-mo because they're just that slow. That's so slow. Alright, well, Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers getting ready to press forwards here. There's a couple of bars dropping down. Queen's lifted by the Phoenix. So obviously the transfusions are pretty good, although it does use most of the transfusions already. Now lifts the high energy Queen. It's the way to do it because the transfuse won't be able to come off of this. It's just not enough to really clean up the Roaches and Ravagers. In fact, there's nothing because there's no Immortal being produced or anything at all. herO will type out a GG as Rogue's attack across the map is a little too strong on, as well as all the other wonderful things, such as maybe if you got a Twitch Prime sub, dropping it on the channel goes a long way to helping out. As you do have to the bottom right, our red Protoss player. This is herO. Up against the blue Zerg top left, Jinnair, Green Rings, Rogue. herO recently joined in TSG, the same team as Solar, I believe. One of the Chinese teams that seem to be looking to take part in the upcoming Chinese Pro League, which we're still waiting on a little bit more information from, but should be finding something out about sooner rather than later, I'd imagine. Restcom as a map, I'm still very intrigued by this natural. I feel like this massive ledge over here is so abusable, but yet we haven't seen too many Terran games on this map. And so, alas, I don't know to see if it's true. One of the Terran games we saw was pretty crazy, and it ended up with a the rich Vespene Geyser being mined from this base. I think that was Cure versus Impact. And these minerals got mined out to give access to the gold rich Vespene base. We've only seen that used one time, and that was in that matchup. So, let's see if maybe in the PvZ we can get something a little bit crazier like that going as well. Would be cool. Would be very cool, actually. So we see this Overlord heading down to the bottom right. We're going to see the Nexus, the Cybernetics core, on the way up as well. And Overlord's just going in a couple different ways. This Nexus coming up to being about halfway done. Pylon drops down at the front. I'm just going to see this drone from Rogue is, well, getting mined on the natural because he's fully saturated in the main. So all good so far. Why are there so many PvP and PvZ? Where are the Terrans? No Terrans in this group. Just the way it turned out with players' availability and when they could play. As we do see the Stargate coming up right now here from herO. Third drone getting ready to place down the third hatch again. So in terms of opening, similar to the last game from the Zerg, obviously the Stargate is different from herO. Last game he just went straight up into 4 gates. And as we do have probes that's mining away off of the low ground. So a few probes mining the low ground, Overlord coming down, moving into the main base in the next few moments. And as the probe's going to continue mining as well. Oracle on the way out of the main. Nice Overlord just moving around a little bit here on the left side as well. Couple Zerglings just going to be running across and getting this set to go. Oracle about halfway done at the moment. So Oracle halfway along. And we are going to be seeing that link speed still on the way up. Going to complete in just a few moments' time. So link speed completes here. We are just going to be having a, again, the Oracle opening into the Phoenix, very kind of standardized, very much so expected. And if you want to play a bit more of a standard PvZ, I feel like this base definitely not going to be the first one taken because of the, it's just very open. Like even by the time you have a Nexus here, I guess you got to attack through this sort of position. It's just too far away from the natural, I think. So I think you go along here for your third base as the Protoss player. You only have to defend this position and obviously the attack into the 2 ramps, which becomes kind of interesting as well. Well, Prism gets started up from herO as we do see this Phoenix just nibbling its way through the Overlord. So Overlord taking quite a bit of damage, will get killed off here. And again, the Phoenix heading across the map as the Oracle still flying around. A few Zerglings of Rogue on the way over to the right-hand side as well. Can only imagine a Terran floating a CC over to this base. Actually, that's something we haven't seen yet, but I wonder if it would even be good, because if you fly over there without taking down the minerals, it's a very exposed base on this side, right? Units can come here, any range units can. It's like the Redshift gold base, if you guys remember Redshift. You know, Redshift gold base, you know, units come in from this side, those workers are in trouble, and then you can't get units through here to actually defend, right? So, probably wouldn't actually be that great just to float over. These blue minerals have like 20 to 50 minerals, I believe. Around that mark. I think it's 50 from what we saw yesterday. So it does take a little bit of attempts, you know, a little bit of time to mine out as, well, Ling's picking up a few kills here. The Phoenix has been on some hunts and has found a single Overlord so far. Other Ling's getting ready to really flood into that third base. As Rogue has that +1 melee coming up, but is also building the Roach-Roaring. This sort of suggests a more aggressive style of kind of Lingbane Roach, which has been super aggressive rather than building into Lingbane Hydra. Because obviously the melee is going to tell us Lingbane, right? But again, Roaches definitely are sort of the hit faster, cost less sort of unit. Let's like really swarm up and overtake you. Just because I have way too many units in comparison to what you're able to deal with at this point in time. So that's what we're currently heading in towards. Feelings just perusing the right side again, seeing what's up. Yeah, these purple guys are rich Vespene guys, and I tell you what, when you get a gas out of this rich Vespene, it looks absolutely nuclear. It is so bright, it's crazy. As you see Archons in the middle map, I always like this, cleaning up of the creep spread. I mean, I'm a Terran player, so to me, cleaning up creep spread is like the priority of the world. You need to do it, as otherwise the Zerg can definitely get out of control. You just see the Orb Prism coming down to the bottom. I feel Zerg is going to come in and try and again get a bit of a surround. Very aggressive out of Rogue with all those Lings, but it does mean, you know, he's made them rather than drones. His worker count's been down a bit, and he's now starting up that Roach count, really building up into this here. And I get the feeling we're not seeing any more than 62 drones on this map. Probably just going to stick at this point, as we do have more melee upgrades, Bane speed on the way up, Roach speed's already done. All of these Lings coming through the center, and still just trying to find some damage here, some damage there. The creep pressing forwards again to get those Roaches and Ravages and anything across the map as soon as possible. Rogue can use these Lings already across the map to morph in Banes as well. Just means that it can happen just a little bit faster. Doesn't have to wait for other Lings. It just makes sense, right? Saw some more finite fuel, though doesn't have that much gas because he built a lot of Ravagers here. And he just wants some Banelings because Banelings are very good at forcing the Protoss army to split up and not just be able to, well, fully focus on fighting. Oracle's going to try and kill off a Ravager here as well. First Ravager goes down pretty quick. The Ling's going down pretty fast too. I don't feel like these first few Banes are really that scary at all. And they go down kind of as though that is the case as well. Now, as some extra Banes have finished up, herO pulls away quite nicely up to the high ground. Mortal coming down here, firing a couple of shots on roaches already. So a little bit of damage being done. Just going to be seeing herO's Spore Prism sat out up overhead. Welcome's wandering around a little bit to the sides, and yeah, it seems like Rogue is going to be backed away. He adds on another set of drones, so another round of drones coming into play here. Going to be kind of nice for him to. It's going to be kind of nice for him to just sort of transition, but then obviously he's still on Ling Bane Ravager. It's not the best set of zombie composition as that's a good set of Banelings though. Oh my god, he's going to kill every single Zealot. Oh, herO. Wanders onto creep and the Banelings are just going to completely clean up. I'm lost in my thoughts trying to make a point. And Rogue just crushes herO's army right then and there. That's a 2-0. Just like that. Ah, that's a shame from herO because some Zealots come into this left-hand side, they don't even have charge. Oh my god. Yeah. Wow. herO had such a good defense as well, and he just wanders forwards, is a little bit too careless, and he just falls apart. Just like that. Damn. Extra Ravages on the way up as some Zealots will drop down into the main base here. Continue to just do a little bit more. Picking up a couple of Lings. Oracle down on the bottom side, hanging out as well. Well, Prism still just moving around as it's going to come dropping back down to the low ground. A few of these are just looking for some opportunities. I mean, herO is going to try and rebuild, but it definitely gives Rogue a little bit more. It's almost as Rogue actually dealt damage with his initial attack, right? Now, you know, that's the position herO now has to play from, rather than being in a spot where it's like, oh, this is great for me, like this has gone very well, and I've got an advantage. Definitely no advantage to be had here now, although the game, I think Swarmhosts are going to make it too difficult, right? He still doesn't even have charge. That's a little crazy. There's Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers coming out into the center. Crossbar's trying to think about where Prism / Oracle might fly soon, but doesn't hit anything at all. I mean, I think charge is a mistake more than anything, the fact he doesn't have it still, but I don't know how he didn't realize it, because those Zealots were just doing nothing, wandering around. Again, Swarmhost hanging out in the center. Going to be seeing the first Swarmhost getting picked off here. Oracle's going to try for a second, but doesn't quite find it as the transfusions come down. Swarmhost getting healed back up as the Oracles again continue to the upper left side. A couple of drones going to get picked away at. 6, 7, 8, 9. Lots of workers killed. I'm just going to see more Oracles back in towards this base. Oh, the Spore Crawler though is going to be able to kill off one Oracle. Other Oracle taking some damage too. At least the two of them will come down to the bottom right. Getting away from all of this. Well, Rogue still has a good army supply. Has Hive on the way up. His Swarmhosts are about to come into action as well. We haven't seen them just yet. Where are the Swarmhosts? They're over here. Just waiting for them to really come into play then. They've already used themselves defensively. Huh. Well, meanwhile, War Prism coming up the right-hand side. A few Zealots ready to go. Starting to unload, and those Lings, I mean, already in position. The Banes are rolling forwards. No opportunity given. And again, Swarmhost on the map, tacking up into Hive, ready for Great Aspire shortly. It just feels like Rogue has all these transitions while herO's going to be struggling. And takes the fourth base off to the right. You see the Zealots starting to drop in. Spore Crawler turns the Prism away. And again, 12 more Banelings currently on the way out here from Rogue. Locust dropping down, picking their way through a whole bunch of these structures at the moment, so again, just being annoying, getting some probes in the back of the mineral line as well. In the middle of the map, we see a larger fight starting to break out. There's so many Immortals from herO. It's actually ridiculous. He's got 10 Immortals. They just look insane. The Zerg's charged on the top right-hand side as well, so herO does start to find some damage. So it's doing quite a bit here as we see Bane's Ravagers coming in. Ravagers will get cleaned up. Extra Banes rolling through as well. Spikecoil also adding on some extra shots here and there. The Ravagers back through into the center of the map. We're seeing some Locusts popping up, moving forward. Going to try and drop down on top of these Immortals and Archons. And he's coming in from the right side as well. It's actually quite a nice surround. There's nowhere for herO to run to, so he just has to fight. Corrosive Valves dropping down, a lot of Immortal barriers being popped as the Banes roll through. I mean, the Banes are okay if they can land on splashed, clumped up together units, so it's splashing. Locusts are off cooldown, so they need to wait a little bit before they can come back and fight once again here. I think herO still has an army that can fight this, but he really needs the Locusts to be part of it. herO pushing forwards. He's taking some good fights. I mean, he hasn't really allowed the Swarm Host to do too much. He's built this army back up. And since then, he's taken much better fights than what we saw originally turning this game around. So, it's keeping him in it at the moment. As here we go, another big wave of Locusts. The Templars morphing into Archons. That splash damage is going to be important. This time, though, the Locusts getting right on top of Archons, etc. And that's causing a lot of trouble here, because now the Locusts are really pushing through this army. Ravagers coming in as well. We'll get to that weird setup again here, perhaps, where the Locusts are off cooldown. So, all of a sudden, we're waiting for, herO to... herO has some potential to fight until they're ready to go again. Looks as though it's not going to be the case, though. It's a little too one-sided from Rogue, and it looks like he's going to come out with this one in his favor. Looks like he's going to take this down 2-0 against herO here. Fun game, though, on Restcom. Heading towards the 15-minute mark, one of the longer games of today at the moment. A few DTs running into the top right-hand side, going to find themselves a hatchery. Again, herO seems to keep finding ways back into this. Down to the bottom side. Locust going to drop straight on in. I mean, there's nothing really here to defend Locust, right? Immortals, not great. The shield batteries are helping and buying some time. DT's walked in as well to help out. Doesn't lose much, but also doesn't exactly gain much from fighting this, right? And did lose shield batteries and some of the defensive capabilities on this base, which is worrying because at the moment we do see Rogue pressing forwards, ready to pressure, ready to attack into it. Extra Banes of Rogue currently morphing in. Some Swarmers still hanging out in the center as well. Immortals and Archons gathered together here. You see the Locusts popping up and heading down to the bottom side. Archons still starting to deal some damage, and we are going to be having the Immortals picking away at a few of the Locusts. And a couple of the Banes getting picked away at too. It's going to be GG. herO just says, yep, can't fight this. I'm tapping out.